Welcome to Future Talk. This is the program that examines the global impact of technology, both the promises and the perils, and tries to see just where the new technology is leading us. On today's program, we're going to talk about the future of journalism. The growth of the internet has changed all the traditional models of journalism and forced us to come up with new paradigms of how journalists and journalistic organizations will have to operate in the future. I have two guests who have been deeply involved in the evolution of the new journalism. David Nordfors is co-founder and executive director of the Center for Innovation Journalism at Stanford University. He's a member of the Futures Committee of the Tech Museum of Innovation, a member of the World Economic Forum Global Agenda Council on the Future of Journalism, and he holds a PhD in molecular quantum physics from Uppsala University in Sweden. Tony Deifell is the director of Q Media Labs, which examines how technology, media, and business shape society. He was the founder of the Institute for Public Media Arts, which promoted user-generated content before there was a name for it, and his work received recognition by the White House as a national model for diversity education. He's also the author of The Big Thaw, a highly detailed study of the evolution of independent media as influenced by the new technology. We'll be getting to our discussion in just a few minutes, but first we have a video from public broadcasting station WTIU in Indiana showing the impact that the internet has already had upon journalism. Let's roll that tape.
According to the Internet World Statistics in 2008, globally over 413 million people use the Internet, and the number is expected to increase this year. The FCC has faced many challenges trying to regulate the Internet.
The Internet is virtually a free-for-all, and the reason for that, it seems to me, is, first of all, the Internet is inherently chaotic and very, very difficult to control. Whereas a broadcast station, I mean, if a television licensee does something very, very wrong, the FCC can pull that license, and that broadcaster can no longer operate. That's hard to do on the Internet.
The Internet has become the primary source for information for everyone. The immediate access allows people to stay informed through technology with new forms of media, such as Twitter or Facebook, which Mark Doiza, associate professor in the Department of Telecommunications at Indiana University, explains why Internet usage is common across age, gender, and class.
In the recent unrest in Iran and the elections, when we heard the reports that the real information out of Iran was coming from Twitter and similar sort of online networks, and not from mainstream media that were censored or ejected from the country. I mean, that's a big, powerful statement to the capacity of individual human beings to inform each other and themselves. Empowered by the tools that the Internet provides.
Technological advancements are providing more opportunities for immediacy and creativity in various forms of news presentation. Innovative combinations of audio, video, and text are forcing older versions of media to explore new business models.
Newspapers and news collectors and presenters are going to have to shift their focus, taking advantage of the Internet. I don't think newspapers can afford any longer to give away their content. So I think we're going to see some different business models. We're going to see more paid content on the Internet. I think that's one big shift that you're going to see.
Doiza explains that journalists should adopt a new model in order to be effective, and technology is a part of that process.
The entire history of media tells us is that when people have the chance, the tools to tell their own story, that's what they instantly do. They are to be an audience and wait until a journalist tells you what's important and what you need to know is actually very unnatural. I think when journalism realizes that and accepts that its role as a mass medium that tells people what they need to know is over, I think that's when we begin to see solutions to a new role for them in the 21st century.
So, David, the Internet has already had a huge impact on the way journalism is practiced. What further changes can we expect to see in the future?
Well, we've only seen the start, actually. And it's happened very fast, and it's going to go faster and faster. So what we're seeing now is that journalism is approaching real time more than it used to. It's increasing engagement, and it's getting onto our cell phones so that mobility is increasing. So what's going to be added to that now also then is geographical positioning, so that I will be able to get the news on my phone about what's happening around me and be able to interact with it more.
Now, you're the director of an organization called the Center for Innovation Journalism at Stanford. Not innovative journalism, innovation journalism.
Right.
So what's that about?
Well, it's about telling the story about how innovation happens. And it sounds as if it would be something easy that journalism always has done. It's true that journalism always has done it, but it's wrong that it's easy, because innovation is it's not about tech or business or politics, but it's about tech and business and politics and how they co-evolve. And usually in traditional journalism, one separates these stories, and we have to learn how to tell them together in order to understand what's happening with music or what we can do about global warming and issues like that.
Is that like horizontal journalism versus vertical journalism?
Yes, I'd say so,
I think we have a
yes.
graphic for that. Do we have that graphic? Well, anyway. So basically what you're saying is that we need a new model of journalism in which a story has more elements and broader reach?
Yes, I think that the journalists need to focus more on how people who do different things and how they kind of come together and how they relate to each other in making new things happen.
Oh,
so that we can discuss how innovation happens, because this is the big driving force in society today. Back in the 80s, economic growth was very much about doing more of the same and managing the products you had. But today, growth and change in society is so much more about replacing old things with new things. So you could maybe do the same thing for 10 years before. You can only do it for 2 years today. So you have to all the time think about what to do next now, and that's new. And that means that we need to have journalism that can report on the process of change much better than what it has been able to do so far.